It's Wednesday, March 6. In the headlines, operation resumes at Petrojam after fire on Tuesday. The Education Minister commits to signing MOU for medical school scholarships. In business news, former Digital chairman weighs in on calls for an apology from the UK for the Atlantic slave trade. Regionally, Haiti's Prime Minister Dr. Ariel Henry warned not to return to the country. And in sports, over 300,000 tickets available for the Paris Olympics opening ceremony. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Petrojam Limited is assuring its customers and the public that the fire that occurred at the refinery on Tuesday, March 5, will not affect the supply of petroleum products to the market. In a statement, Petrojam's General Manager Telroy Morgan says, quote, both loading facilities in Kingston and Montego Bay opened this morning as per standard business hours. At Petrojam, we maintain a substantial reserve of products to ensure uninterrupted supply to the country in any emergency situation, end quote. The state-owned oil refinery said the blaze started shortly after 7 p.m. on Tuesday. It says emergency response personnel acted swiftly to initiate emergency protocols and successfully brought the situation under control. No injuries were reported. The company says investigation into the incident continues and further updates will be provided. An additional $60 million has been allocated to the Jamaica Railway Corporation, JRC, in the upcoming budget despite reports of continued loss. Minister of Transport Daryl Vaz says some 400 children benefit from the service. He was responding to questions at a meeting of Parliament's Standing Finance Committee on Tuesday.
The operating cost of the Jamaica Railway basically increased by about $60 million, but the revenue, especially train fares and charges, is it that the ministry will continue with the passenger service as is?
It's difficult because the fact is that it's a social service and it's an essential service. And what we are doing at the moment is trying to find a way how we can fund it until such time as Railway Corporation is able to expand on its revenue.
Minister Vaz says there is an opportunity to increase revenue, and Mr. Phillips sought an explanation.
One of the areas that they're working on and far advanced is taking advantage of the BPO traffic, especially in that area, because the BPOs employ thousands of people in one location, and transport is a problem. So that railway line runs right across a number of them, and it's a good revenue earner because of the amount of persons that will be moved to and from on a daily basis. If that happens, according to what they have presented to me, member, it can bring revenue between $30 and $40 million a month of guaranteed revenue.
Member of Parliament Philip Paulwell is concerned about the survival of the Universal Service Fund, the USF. He notes that it had a deficit of $392 million for the past year and is projected to have a deficit of $2.3 billion for the upcoming fiscal year. He was speaking at Tuesday's meeting of the Standing Finance Committee at Gordon House.
Minister, we have to do something about the survival of the Universal Service Fund. It is too important an institution for us not to provide enough resources for them to do the work.
He made an appeal for the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service to step in and resolve the matter.
You will recall when they were established first, all the funds that we collected over the first 3 or so years, almost $10 billion went straight into the consolidated fund. I'm asking that some of these monies be returned to USF. At the same time, we make sure that their future funding.
Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport Daryl Vaz assured Mr. Paulwell that the matter is being resolved.
The funds that are at the Accountant General are accessible, and basically we have been drawing from it every year, and we still have a significant amount. It's 13 billion?
How much?
13 billion. 13 billion 622.
13 billion.
13 billion.
Minister Vaz explained that additional resources are being allocated for the related entities such as National Broadband Initiative and e-learning tablets for schools.
So approximately $2 billion annually is being spent from USF funds held by the Accountant General for these initiatives. At the end of 23, 24 and 24-25, the balance held at the Accountant General will reduce from 13.6 billion to 10.9 billion.
The USF is an agency under the Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport, mandated to ensure access to information and communication technology tools to facilitate development. Minister of Education Favour Williams has committed to signing a memorandum of understanding between her ministry and the Caribbean School of Medical Science, Jamaica. Denita Rodney has the details.
The MOU, which is to be signed by month's end, will provide scholarship for needy students. Minister Williams made the pledge during the school's white coat ceremony.
I am committed to ensuring that the MOU for the CSMSJ is signed by the ministry. And I'll commit to a time frame as well, because it's been outstanding for a little bit. I would say by the end of this month, we should be able to sign that MOU.
During the ceremony, 19 medical students were officially inducted into the medical profession and will move on to do clinical work in public hospitals over the next 2 years. Mrs. Williams continued her speech saying that it is the ministry's hope that the CSMSJ will be able to expand.
We hope that as an institution, you'll be able to attract more students and expand your programs. And even as we reinforce the importance of laying the groundwork in our primary and secondary schools to prepare students to take advantage of the training opportunities in STEM education, we want to ensure that at the tertiary level, our students are getting there as well. We're confident that the mainstreaming of STEM and STEAM education will better prepare students for current and emerging jobs, as well as helping them to develop their own innovative and critical thinking skills to carve new niches.
Executive Dean of the school, Dr. Neva Bay Lane, welcomed the ministry's assurance and noted that the MOU is essentially an acknowledgement by the Ministry of Education that the curriculum and facilities of the institution are up to standard. Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I'm Denita Rodney.
The Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs says it is paying $4.5 million per month to rent new facilities on Fairway Avenue near New Kingston in St. Andrew. The matter surfaced during discussions at Tuesday's meeting of the Standing Finance Committee. Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, Mrs. Marlene Malahou-Fort, says the corporate office has been established, but it needs to be retrofitted at a cost of over $272 million.
With the retrofitting work estimated at a cost of $210 million, the procurement of ICT infrastructure and equipment, just over $49 million, and for fixture, furniture and fittings, just over $13 million.
Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, your guide through the latest happenings in the world of business. United Kingdom organizations call for action as well as an apology for the business of African-based slavery in the Caribbean. Dennis O'Brien, former chairman of Digicel Telecommunications Group and now founder of the Repair Campaign, has welcomed the official statement by the Church of England's Independent Oversight Group on how the church can begin to make amends for its historic links to chattel enslavement in the Caribbean. O'Brien stated, "A rare opportunity now exists for an honest conversation in the UK to begin to heal the past. We call on other UK institutions with historic links to enslavement, including the royal family, successor corporate entities, universities, family, and the UK government to finally do the right thing and apologize. Enslavement was an unfathomable crime against humanity, and Caribbean countries still live with the legacy. Former colonial powers, including the UK, left these countries with deep economic and social challenges after gaining their independence. These challenges, as a direct result of colonialism, are still impacting each country today," said O'Brien. Cigarette distributor Carreras Limited, for the 9 months ended December 31, 2023, reported a 10% increase in operating revenue, totaling $13.8 billion, compared to the $12.53 billion in the corresponding period last year. Operating revenue for the third quarter had a 9% increase to close at $5.46 billion, compared to $5 billion for the comparable quarter in 2022. Net profit for the 9 months amounted to $3.53 billion, a 29% increase from the $2.74 billion reported in 2022. For the third quarter, net profit was $1.38 billion, compared to 2022, in which it was $1.13 billion. Investors can get ready for passive income from Jamaica's largest chicken and meats distributor. Jamaica Broilers Group Limited has declared an interim dividend of 38 cents per share, payable on April 16, 2024, to shareholders on record as at March 19, 2024. The ex-dividend date is March 18, 2024. During trading on March 5, 2024, the top advancing stocks covered the food, construction, and finance sectors on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Caribbean Cream Limited shares advanced by 12.72% for a 44-cent jump to close at $3.90 with 8 shares traded. Lumber Depot Limited shares advanced by 10.55% for a 27-cent price increase to close at $2.83 with 1,000 shares traded. JMB Group 7.25% variable rate JMD cumulative rate preference shares advanced by 8.95% for a 29-cent upward shift to close at $3.53 with 541 shares traded. On the declining stocks that traders experienced on March 5, 2024, technology led the way. T-Tech Limited declined by 18.37% for a 45-cent decline to close at $2 with 31,023 shares traded. The Limners and Bards declined by 17.84% for a 33-cent drop to close at $1.52 with 12,749 shares traded. Jetcon Corporation Limited declined by 12.37% for a 12-cent downward price drop to close at 85 cents with 1,555 shares traded. Over on the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, trading activity for March 5, 2024 on the first-tier market registered a volume of 148,699 shares crossing the floor of the exchange, valued at TT $899,232.29. Massey Holdings Limited was the volume leader with 57,340 shares changing hands for a value of TT $246,576, followed by JMB Group Limited with a volume of 50,061 shares being traded for TT $70,102.68. Calypso Macro Index Fund was the only active security on the Trinidad and Tobago mutual fund market, posting a volume of 248 shares valued at TT $5,704. Moving from the money moves of investors, executives, and companies, we turn to the Forex market. On March 5, 2024, the Bank of Jamaica reported that US $18.8 million was bought from Forex traders, while US $25.4 million was sold to Forex traders. Buying directly from the Bank of Jamaica, foreign currency traders sold the US dollar for $156.31 and bought the US dollar for $154.54. The difference between the buy and sell rate was $1.77, which represents a profit for Forex traders for every US dollar traded. Canadian Forex traders earned a trading profit of $5.67 from transactions with the Bank of Jamaica. The Canadian dollar was sold at $116.92 and bought for $111.25. For traders looking at the British pound, they pocketed a profit of $1.81, selling it for $199 and buying it for $197.19. Well, the credit report tip of the day. When thinking about buying a vehicle, explore financing options offered by subprime lenders who specialize in working with individuals with mid to low range credit scores. These lenders may have more flexible requirements and be more willing to approve your loan application. And with that, we wrap up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams. Appreciate your company. Stay well informed, stay ahead of the curve. Until our next update, take care.
In regional news, gang members in Haiti have warned Prime Minister Dr. Ariel Henry of grave consequence if he returns to the country. Prime Minister Henry, who was returning home after his visit to Kenya, has had to fly to Puerto Rico. According to media reports, he arrived in the capital of San Juan on Tuesday after flying from the United States of New Jersey. The Haitian Prime Minister went to Kenya to sign an agreement allowing for a United Nations Security Council sanctioned international force to restore peace and security in the violence-torn country. Leftist political leader Jean-Charles Moïse said the new government would soon be installed with a judge as chairman, assisted by former rebel leader and former police commissioner Guy Philippe and Francois Saint-Vilvilliers from the religious sector, a close ally of Mr. Moïse. In other regional news, Guyana's President Dr. Ifran Ali, who is currently the chairman of the Caribbean Community, says the 15-member bloc is focused on worsening crisis in Haiti. Dr. Ali, in an address on his official Facebook page on Tuesday, said he and other CARICOM leaders have been engaging Haiti's prime minister on the situation.
CARICOM has been singularly focused on the events unfolding in Haiti over the last few days. The expanded bureau has been meeting separately with Prime Minister Henry, the stakeholders in Haiti, and our international partners to bring resolution to this highly complex matter, where persons' lives and livelihoods are at stake. The complexity requires us in these consultations to ensure that a Haitian-led and Haitian-owned solution may be achieved as soon as possible. We remain deeply engaged and will update on the outcome of our deliberations as soon as practicable.
The Commonwealth is equipping citizens in Antigua and Barbuda with an opportunity to earn from home and secure higher paying jobs in the digital economy. Secretary General Baroness Patricia Scotland tells ABS News in an exclusive interview about the initiative to provide training free of cost in artificial intelligence. Myrtle Bruner-Hodge reports.
Commonwealth Secretary General Baroness Patricia Scotland has announced a new training initiative in artificial intelligence, targeting the more than 1.5 billion young people across the Commonwealth. Speaking with ABS News from Tanzania, Baroness Scotland says this opportunity is available to individuals at no cost.
So I hope all the young people in Antigua are listening to this, because we have brought forward training courses for young people on AI. And you know, many of these training courses, if you look at them, they are $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. Well, all of this training is going to be available to everyone in our Commonwealth for free.
Baroness Scotland says it is likely that by 2030, AI and digital technology will add over $15 trillion to the global economy, and so young people in the Commonwealth should avail themselves of this digital revolution.
And we are absolutely determined that the 1.5 billion young people in our Commonwealth will take advantage of this digital AI revolution to get better jobs, better employment, and this is now possible to work from home or anywhere in the world using the new digital platforms.
She adds that this initiative is an opportunity to put the wealth back in Commonwealth.
We don't need much in the Commonwealth Caribbean to be truly wealthy. I said when I became Secretary General that I wanted to put the wealth back into Commonwealth, but I also wanted to put the common back into wealth. And this AI gives us an opportunity, if we grasp it, to do that.
Myrtle Bruno-Hodge, ABS News.
In Grenada, Prime Minister and Minister of National Security Dickon Mitchell has expressed deep concern about the disturbing trend of violence and derogatory content prevalent in some genres of music.
The Prime Minister's alarm underscores the potential societal impacts of such genres, particularly in fueling violence and promoting negative behaviors.
And we have to accept that I don't know that I could call it emerging. There has emerged a trend in our entertainment sector over the last, perhaps more recently in the context of the Caribbean and the Southern Caribbean, in the case of Trinidad, in the case of Jamaica, dancehall music, in the case of Black America, rap, hip-hop, that glorifies violence, that glorifies criminality.
Particularly highlighting his country's version of dancehall music known as Trinidad music, Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said during the 46th regular meeting of the Conference of the Heads of Government of CARICOM, they realized there's difficulty in containing the reach of violent content due to the influence of social media.
We discussed it at length, but we make a distinction between condemning it and banning it, because we believe that to talk about bans, to ban something, is simply to make it more attractive to those who would want to use it. In the technological world, you can't ban something like that because you might say you don't want it on TTT, you don't want it in a public space, but social media will make sure it's available to all who want it. And that's one of the difficulties that the current world faces. There was a time if you say don't print it in the newspaper, that's the end of that.
Guyanese President Dr. Mohamed Ofan Ali also called on fellow leaders to prevent violent music from taking root in their respective countries. Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell said the aim is not to silence the creatives. However, societal values have to be upheld, especially since the music is influencing on the younger generation.
And we are not here to say that you don't have the right to your cultural expression, artistic expression, or poetic license. But all societies have to, again, determine what are our values. We have to ascertain if promoting violence, glorifying criminality, is to be normalized, is to become mainstream. Heads are clear. It is not. And so we are unreserved in our condemnation.
Just last month, Grenadians were outraged over a show scheduled for the eve of the country's 50th anniversary of independence, featuring controversial Trinidadian Trinidad artist Kashif Cayman 6 Alexander. Their concerns were due to Cayman 6 being linked to the ongoing bloody warfare between two rival gangs in the Twin Island Republic, which left several persons dead during 2 attempts on his life. He was subsequently removed from the cast of the show. Shortly after, he was banned from entering St. Kitts and Nevis, where he was due to perform, after he was flagged as a security risk. He was further barred from entering Guyana to perform for a show less than 2 weeks ago. Reporting for GBN News, Beverly Telesford.
In sports, 326,000 tickets are available for the opening ceremony of the Paris Olympics on the River Seine. Interior Minister Gérald Darmanin says organizers have scaled back their plans for the waterborne parade because of concerns from French security services and worries about terror attacks. But it is still set to break records in terms of size, with 104,000 spectators set to flank the lower bank who have paid for a ticket. He says 222,000 people are expected to watch from the higher banks with free tickets. He estimates that another 200,000 people would watch the open-air parade on July 26 on the river from buildings that overlook the Seine, with an additional 50,000 in fan zones in the capital. The open-air ceremony on boats is in keeping with promises to make the Paris Olympics iconic, with the local organizing committee keen to break from past traditions in the way it stages the world's biggest sporting event. And that's the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thank you so much for watching.